There's a cost to giving away your energy carelessly. And the price? It's not just physical. It's your focus, your drive, your edge. Every time you give a piece of yourself away without intention, without discipline, you train your mind to settle, to drift instead of dominate. You weren't built for that. You were built to pursue something bigger than quick pleasure and surface level validation. Your legacy isn't written in temporary highs. It's written in the decisions you make when no one's watching. You see, the world doesn't need another distracted man. It needs you focused. It needs you dangerous. It needs you in control of your power, not a slave to it. And when you learn to master this one habit, when you stop leaking your potential, you unlock a version of yourself that even you haven't met yet. Let's talk about it. Every release without purpose weakens your focus. This isn't just about biology. It's about what it represents. Every time you indulge in a moment of fleeting pleasure without any intention behind it, you're training your brain to prioritize instant gratification over long-term fulfillment. The idea, which I call training your mind to be, life's a bliss. You're teaching your system that desire is king and discipline is optional. And slowly, without even realizing it, your sharp edge starts to dull. That hunger you once had for success, for growth, for conquest, starts getting replaced by comfort, distraction, and laziness. The truth is, men are wired to build, to create, to conquer. That raw drive, that fire, is the same energy that pushes a man to chase his vision relentlessly. But when that energy is constantly leaked, scattered without purpose, it no longer serves you, it owns you. You become a servant to your own impulses. You stop building. You start settling. You get complacent, not because you're lazy, but because you've exhausted the very energy that fuels greatness. Think about this. Every time you release without a reason, whether it's with someone who doesn't value you or alone in the dark while escaping into fantasy, you're not just wasting a physical act. You're wasting the signal to your brain that says, we earned this. Dopamine is released, not just in reward, but in pursuit. But if you're giving yourself the reward without the pursuit, your brain stops craving the hard things. It no longer sees value in the chase. That kills ambition. That kills focus. It's like watering a plant with a leaking bucket. You keep wondering why the plant isn't growing, but you never notice the slow, steady drip from the bottom. Over time, your goals get blurry. Your standards lower. You don't feel as hungry. Not because the dream got smaller, but because your focus did. You lost the intensity that once made you unstoppable. That energy you used to channel into work, into training, into leveling up, it's now gone before the day even starts. Men who guard their energy guard their vision. They don't let temporary urges rob them of permanent progress. They understand that there's a direct link between their habits and their destiny. It's not about shame. It's not about guilt. It's about power, control, mastery. Because when you can say no to your impulses, you become dangerous. Not reckless, but sharp. Yeah. You become dangerous, not reckless, but sharp, calculated, unshakable. Your mind becomes clear. Your goals regain clarity. That fog that's been slowing you down starts to lift. You stop negotiating with yourself every morning. You stop needing constant motivation because your discipline becomes your fuel. And suddenly, you start to move differently. You speak with more certainty. You make decisions faster. You're not distracted. You're present. You're locked in. This is what separates the man who drifts from the man who leads, the one who reacts from the one who creates. If you keep handing over your power to short-term highs, don't be surprised when you feel lost, unfocused, and stuck in cycles that drain you. The time, the distance, and the cycles and out time are really much more than idle, than cycle, than drain you. Your life is a week. Your soul, your life is discipline over desire creates unmatched confidence. In a world where instant gratification is just a click away, choosing restraint is a radical act. It's easy to chase what feels good in the moment. It takes no strength to give in to every urge, every craving, every fleeting impulse. But true power comes from being able to hold the line, from knowing you could give in, but choosing not to. That's where real confidence is born. Not the fake kind that comes from ego or appearance, but the deep, unshakable kind that's forged in private moments of self-control. Desire is natural. It's wired into your biology. But letting desire run your life is what keeps men average. The man who lives by impulse is predictable. He's easy to manipulate, easy to distract, easy to control. He's ruled by emotion, by mood, by urges. But the disciplined man, he's the one who sets the tone. He's the one who makes people feel his presence without saying a word. Because people can sense when a man is in control of himself. It shows in how he moves, how he speaks, how he handles challenges. Every time you say no to a craving, you build a layer of confidence that no one can take from you. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you are the master of your mind, not a slave to it. That inner strength bleeds into every area of life. Your work ethic sharpens. Your relationships deepen. Your goals become clearer. You stop operating out of desperation and start operating from purpose. You walk into rooms with calm certainty, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust yourself to stay grounded. Discipline isn't about denying yourself forever. It's about delaying gratification long enough to achieve something that matters. It's the difference between choosing pleasure and choosing growth. One fades in seconds, the other builds legacy. Men who chase discipline over desire aren't boring, they're dangerous in the best way. They become men of substance. They become men who move differently in a distracted world. Confidence isn't built in the spotlight, it's built in silence. In those unseen battles where it's just you against the urge, the excuse, the temptation, that's where your identity gets forged. That's where your character is revealed. And when you stack enough of those wins, you stop needing validation from anyone else. You don't need to chase women, attention, or approval. Your discipline becomes your presence. It speaks for you before you open your mouth. Desire will always scream louder. It's immediate. It's emotional. But discipline whispers. It doesn't beg for your attention, but it's always there, waiting for you to choose it. The more you choose it, the more confident you become. Not because the world told you you're enough, but because you know you can trust yourself when it counts. That's confidence no one can fake, and no one can steal. Casual pleasure kills long-term ambition. It may feel harmless in the moment, a quick release, a temporary high, a moment of escape, but the cost is hidden and it adds up. Every time you trade your energy for a cheap thrill, you're signaling to your mind that comfort is more valuable than progress. You're conditioning yourself to seek the easy path, not the meaningful one. And ambition doesn't thrive in comfort. It thrives in challenge, in discomfort, in the daily pursuit of something greater than yourself. The man chasing casual pleasure becomes addicted to convenience. He stops pushing, he stops striving, he starts drifting through life, wondering why his fire feels dimmer, why he no longer wakes up with purpose. The truth is, he's numbed it. Not intentionally, but gradually. One small escape at a time. Every casual hookup, every scroll through explicit content, every late night indulgence without meaning, it pulls you just slightly further from who you're meant to become. And that version of you, the one with ambition, with hunger, with vision, starts fading into the background. Long-term ambition requires energy, and energy is not unlimited. It needs to be protected. When you give it away to things that don't serve you, that energy doesn't just come back, it's spent. It's gone. And what's left is fatigue, mental, emotional, even spiritual. That fatigue turns into procrastination. Procrastination turns into self-doubt, and before you know it, the goals you once cared about don't even seem real anymore. Not because they weren't possible, but because you no longer have the drive to chase them. Casual pleasure is seductive because it offers quick rewards without real effort. It pretends to fill a need, but it leaves you emptier than before. And the more you chase it, the more you depend on it. We pretend if we could just find the time, but more you chase it, the more you depend on it. It becomes your coping mechanism, your fallback, your way to avoid the hard truth that growth is hard, success is earned, and fulfillment requires discipline. There's a reason the most focused men are also the most disciplined with their pleasure. They understand that what feels good now can rob you of what you want most. Ambition isn't just about goals. It's about becoming the man capable of achieving them. And that version of you doesn't waste time chasing things that offer no return. He invests, he builds, he preserves his energy for things that matter, for things that last. When you live for casual pleasure, your standards drop. You tolerate low energy, low effort, low reward. You stop demanding more from yourself. And the longer you stay in that space, the harder it is to get out. The man who rises is the man who delays gratification, who resists the empty temptation in front of him because he sees the mountain ahead. He doesn't need constant stimulation to feel alive. He finds life in progress, in pursuit, in purpose. Casual pleasure may offer the illusion of freedom, but in reality, it chains you to a version of yourself that never evolves. Energy wasted on impulse is power lost in silence. Most men don't even realize how much of their strength is slipping through the cracks. Not in battle, not in work, not in public, but in the quiet moments when no one's watching. When you give in to every urge the moment it appears, you're draining the very force that fuels your ambition, your discipline, your drive to lead. It doesn't make noise when it happens. There's no alarm, no warning, just a slow, silent erosion of everything that makes you powerful. Impulse is natural. Every man feels it, but the man who acts on every impulse becomes controlled by them. His day is dictated by what he feels like doing, not by what needs to be done. His mornings are unstructured. His nights are unproductive. He seeks comfort more than growth. And little by little, the vision he once had begins to slip away. Not because he isn't capable, but because he no longer has the internal fire to pursue it. When you waste energy on meaningless distractions, whether it's lust, laziness, or mental noise, you're robbing yourself of the clarity required to win. You can't build momentum when you're constantly starting over. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself past your own cravings. And you can't expect to perform at a high level if your mind is scattered by pleasure and your willpower is weakened by indulgence. Power is lost quietly, one decision at a time, one excuse at a time, one release at a time. What you do in isolation determines who you become in the spotlight. If you're giving away your strength when no one's looking, don't be surprised when you don't have enough left to perform when it matters. The men who dominate in life are not those who feel the least temptation. They're the ones who feel it just as strongly, but choose discipline anyway. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They understand that their greatest edge is self-control. Energy is a currency, and like money, it can be invested or wasted. You can invest it into building your body, your mind, your mission, or you can throw it away on fleeting satisfaction. But once it's gone, it's gone. You don't get to spend the same hour twice. You don't get to reclaim the same moment of clarity once it's been polluted by distraction. That's why focused men guard their energy like it's gold, because it is. When you start respecting your energy, everything changes. Your conversations become sharper. Your goals become non-negotiable. Your standards rise. You stop entertaining things that drain you and start prioritizing things that build you. You stop being too careful. You stop being too calm and clever. And you start prioritizing things that drain you and start being too calm and clever. You stop being too calm and clever. And you start being too calm and clever. You stop being too calm and clever. You stop being too calm and clever. You stop, and the more you protect your power, the more powerful you feel. It's not about becoming robotic or emotionless. It's about becoming precise, strategic, intentional. A man who doesn't flinch in the face of impulse because he knows what's on the line. Mastering your urges is mastering your future. The man who cannot control his desires will always be controlled by them. It doesn't matter how talented, smart, or capable you are, if you're ruled by impulse, your potential stays caged. Every urge you conquer is a vote for the man you're becoming. Every time you delay that craving, you're rewriting your identity as someone who chooses legacy over lust, vision over validation, discipline over distraction. Most men think the battle is out there, in the world, in competition, in success. But the real battle is within. The fight to resist what's easy and commit to what's necessary. Urges come fast and loud, but your future speaks in silence. It waits. It watches. It doesn't beg for your attention. It simply rewards the man who earns it. If your decisions are driven by what feels good right now, the future you want becomes impossible. Not because you aren't capable, but because you gave up your focus every time it got hard to keep. Urges aren't the enemy. They're signals. And when you learn how to read them instead of react to them, you gain an edge most men never develop. You start recognizing that the urge to escape is really the signal that you're bored, unchallenged, unaligned. You begin to see that the urge to seek pleasure is often just a distraction from pain you haven't dealt with. Once you stop being afraid of your urges and start mastering them, you become the architect of your life instead of a passenger in it. Mastery isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and control. The ability to feel an impulse rise and not be shaken by it. To sit with discomfort without needing to numb it. To delay gratification not out of shame, but out of strength. That kind of control bleeds into every corner of your life. You start showing up differently. You speak less, but with more weight. You stop negotiating with excuses. You walk with a calm fire, quiet on the surface, but relentless underneath. They block, They stop moving. Because they're not, every successful man you admire has mastered this principle. He's trained his mind to obey him, not betray him. He doesn't fear desire, but he doesn't bow to it either. That's the line most men never learn to walk. They either repress their nature or indulge it without boundaries. But the powerful man integrates both. He acknowledges his nature and directs it toward purpose. That's where masculine strength lives. He acknowledges it. He understands 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 it. Not in denial, but in direction. The moment you realize your urges don't control you is the moment your future becomes yours again. You stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. You begin to create momentum that doesn't die the second things get hard. Because now your energy is focused, your attention is sharp, and your actions are aligned with your values. Every urge you master becomes proof that you're not just hoping for a better future, you're building it through action, discipline, and vision.